and welcome back to Season 3 of the Football Fignuts podcast. If you're keeping track at home, this is the debut of Season 3, making it Episode 1 and Episode number 101 overall. My name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
I'm Sean.
I'm Sinch.
That is backwards, but Sean and Sinch are here to kick off the new season. We are so thrilled to be back. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in for the third season, and for those of you tuning in for the first time, we will kind of walk you through things. My tablet is making noise, which I never like. I forgot to turn off the volume, but I'll do that as we're chatting. If you're new to the podcast, the first thing we start with every week is a beer. So tonight, I give to you from the Magic Bag to celebrate the third season, one of the hardest beers to find in all of Connecticut. No, I'm not going to need a glass, but thank you. This is from Back East Brewing, and it is called Ice Cream Man.
Yay!
It is extremely difficult to find. Sinch found it, so we obtained it, and now we are about to try it. Now, I have never had this. Craig, you've had it.
I did. I found it at a restaurant.
Cinch has had it. Sean, have you tried this yet?
I have not.
All right, let's pry this bad boy open.
Bush.
There it is. I'm going to drink mine right out of a can. I'm just doing tastes tonight, folks. You know what? I'm going to use a taster glass. That's what I'll do. Sean's going first. Go for it, Sean. Sean's taking a nice sip of it. This is, like, very highly rated on Untapped.
It is. It's very smooth.
It is very smooth. And there's the citrus.
I'm a little afraid of it. Is this a lactose-infused beer? It doesn't. That says
Don't
no.
be afraid.
I do not believe so.
Oh, my God. There's zero light penetration on this bad boy.
It reminds me of Boddington's. The way that's like it's a really smooth beer.
Kind of looks like if you had orange juice and you dumped ice cream in it.
Is that why they call it that? Because I was waiting for
maybe, I
ice
don't
cream
know.
Okay,
flavors.
this is not nearly as creamy as I thought it would be. It's a little hoppy on the back end. I like it. I
enjoy it.
I liked it a great deal. You gave it a 5 on Untapped, and that is high praise.
did. I really
High
enjoyed it
praise.
off top. I also enjoyed the fact that it was $5 a glass.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, now we know what we're doing after the podcast. What do you think of it, Sean?
I like it. It's smooth. It's not too, heavy.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's something you can drink in the summertime.
It's got a little bite to it. What do you think, Sandy? You've had this before.
I don't like it as much as Craig does. I don't dislike it.
That's fair.
It's probably a 4.5, 4.75 for me.
It's very smooth, easy to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little bit of that creamy kind of taste. Not a lot, little bit.
Yeah, but you like more IPA heavy kind of.
I thought he was more of a stout guy myself.
It's good. I could drink it. No problem drinking it. It's not something memorable that I'm going to go home and say I've got to find that.
Again, yeah.
It's good, though. But it's...
What I find is that it's easy to drink. Good for a summer kind of beer because it's going to be too heavy. But it still has... 6.4 ABV, so it's got a little bit more where you think the lighter tasting beers are going to be like 5, 4.5.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
Very true.
Though I have a question. Why is it sold in 2-packs? What kind of bullshit
I think that
is
was
that?
just that particular vendor was cutting the packs to make it easier to stretch it out.
I hope that has not become a thing. It is very hard to find.
I mean, that's the thing. If you get a case of it, you say, all right, I'm limiting 2 cans per customer. You can reach more people.
Right.
But, yeah.
The place we got it at, Britt,
Yes.
comes in Monday afternoon.
Okay. Yeah.
Good to know.
All right. Moving on. So, again, if you're new to the podcast, we are a football and beer podcast. We review at least one beer, usually 2 per episode. And we're starting off our new season, and it is time to move on to our next weekly event, which is Burning Hot Take Questions.
Dun, 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 dun.
Each of the commentators in the room will have an opportunity to give one question that no one has pre-practiced. So you'll get hot takes from each of the members in the room. I will ask the members of the commission to limit their responses to about 30 to 45 seconds each because there's 4 of us and we could be here for hours talking about any one of these questions, I'm sure. Do we have a volunteer who would like to present their question first?
We'll go with Sean.
Sean, the chair recognizes Sean. Sean, speaking into the mic, please, tell us what your burning hot take question is.
Well, since this is about the quarterbacks and
Keep
the
looking
running
at the
backs.
mic. Don't look at me.
Okay. So since it's about the quarterbacks and
To his right, and the mic's in front of his face. Just talk straight, son.
And the running backs, when we're doing these rankings and stuff like that, how much do you guys take into account what you've seen from what their offensive line rankings are?
So how much does offensive line rankings influence my quarterback ranks?
Yep.
Craig?
It'll be the same for running backs. as well.
That's
That's,
another episode.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of recording in bunches.
That's a good question. I don't think a lot of people take into consideration. Because if you have one or two guys in your offensive line that get hurt in preseason or in practice, you can take a really big hit if your backups are not
Quarterback
prepared.
could be great, but they can't stand up.
Yeah, why don't you ask the Carr brothers that?
Yeah.
Cinch, your thoughts?
Well, I think it goes by having a good team. If you have a good team, it almost works against you because maybe you're not passing as much. Last year, Matt Ryan had big numbers on a bad team because in the fourth quarter of every game,
Garbage points.
they're trying to get points, they're trying to get yards. So, I mean, the offensive line, I don't pay any attention to that. It's not a bad point. It's a good point, but I don't pay any attention.
Pass protection to me is everything. I'm going to go the opposite direction of where Cinch is. And yes, it does influence. One of the reasons Andy Dalton is going to be very low in my personal rankings, did I even rank him this year?
It's because he's not very good.
Nope.
But part of the reason he's not very good is because he can't stay upright. So he didn't make my rankings
Well,
this year.
they've had two people on offensive line hurt.
Yeah. So I mean, and one retire.
That's right. One
Bowling?
retired. Their rookie got hurt.
Yeah. When your best offensive lineman, the veteran, says like 3 days into optional mini camps, I think I'm done. You've got a problem on your line. That means he's looking around at a bunch of 22-year-olds who are dude bros and don't know how to block. So
Dude, bro.
there's a problem there.
I mean, so some of the best ones that I've seen, Indianapolis, Green Bay, the Rams. Do you raise Goff up because Rams are
No,
supposed to be up there?
it's more about.
I mean, obviously Luck and Rodgers are going to be up there.
Right. But
But-
offensive line value to me is more about running back than it is about quarterback. But I would be lying if I said it doesn't matter to the quarterback. It matters. It just doesn't. It depends on how much you think it matters. And I think that Cinch's point is valid, and there's an argument to be made there. Good question, Craig. Follow up on that one. Go.
Oh, my turn.
Yeah, why not? I don't know.
All right. So as you have seen this past couple days,
I have.
there are people who decided that, you know what, my rookie contract is almost over.
Oh, it's holdout time.
I want more money because Bell wanted more money, and Antonio Brown wanted more money, so I deserve more money. Do you think we're gonna see a trend, like an ongoing trend, of guys coming off their rookie contracts being like, "Yep, pay me or I'm done"?
Yes. Next.
I don't think you'll see that in quarterbacks because they get paid anyway. As long as you're good enough for a second contract, you're going to get so much money it doesn't matter. So a quarterback isn't going to hold out because if they're that good, they're going to get paid. If they're not that good, they're not getting paid. So they could hold out and we won't miss them.
I think you might see it with the running backs because their
Different
span
shot.
is so. With the quarterbacks, okay. With the quarterbacks, no, maybe not. But you'll see it with the running backs. I mean, the hot take question was not it wasn't specifically.
No, it
about
wasn't specific.
quarterbacks, but it'll probably die out. But I think you'll definitely see it continuing for a little bit. I mean, see these guys doing it right now. So
I think you're right. I think outside the quarterback rank, it's going to be a lot more prevalent. You're going to see it in the wide receivers and running backs in particular.
I think the running backs just more because their time in the NFL is just so much smaller.
Yes.
And they'll be like, we want it quicker.
And the deal and the setup now where your rookie contracts can be extended to a fifth year at the whim of the team. And then after that, the franchise tag can come into play.
And by then, most NFL running backs are done by then.
Yeah, so if you're entering the league at 21 or 22 and you're talking about a 7-year contract, all of a sudden, the first time you can actually go where you want without any repercussion is 29. You're in the last year of your livelihood because 30, for some reason, is the magic number.
Unless you're Frank Gore.
Unless you're
Frank
Frank Gore or
Gore.
Marcus Allen.
Marcus Allen.
Now, don't forget, Marcus Allen was 64 and he was still scoring touchdowns for the Chiefs. I mean,
OJ was still killing them.
That's right. Marcus Allen, don't forget that last year for the Chiefs, 12 carries, 11 touchdowns. But he scored 11 touchdowns that last year. So, all right, that's a good question too. Sinch, what do you got for us?
All right, so here's my question. Quarterback ranking episode.
Okay.
Fantasy football quarterback.
Yes.
So, when you're deciding who your quarterback is going to be, do you give any thought to the receivers on the team? How much thought? Not any thought. How much thought goes to the receivers, be it a tight end, running back out of the backfield that he's throwing to?
He looks like he's having a thought.
Well, you have to not only wide receiver, but you have to think tight end. You have to think running back.
But how much? Is that a big factor?
I mean, it can. I think it boosts an average quarterback. If you have a great quarterback, it's they're gonna make the other players greater. I mean,
Craig, what do you think?
Can I reframe this question really quick?
Yeah.
And I'm going to give a little bit of information. In our quarterback rankings, which we're going to do right after Burning Hot Takes, there is a tie right now in our consensus rankings. And I won't say where they are, but there's a tie in two high-profile names, Drew Brees and Carson Wentz. You look at the Saints, and I know Michael Thomas is upset right now, but assuming Michael Thomas returns, you got Michael Thomas. You've got Traquan Smith. Isn't Ted Ginn there, or he was there?
He was.
Does it matter if he's there?
Right. Who's on Philadelphia anymore?
Kamara.
Alshon Jeffrey?
Ertz. Zach Ertz.
And Zach Ertz.
Okay,
So-
but Wentz was the front runner for MVP 2 seasons ago when he got hurt in week 11 or something?
Something like that, yeah.
He was the front runner for that. Breeze has never won an MVP. So that tells you that Breeze, who's consistently
Drew Brees
very
has
good,
never won an MVP?
never won an MVP. Drew Brees, who is consistently very good, that tells you that by the end of the season he starts to fall off. Because if not, he would be right there.
See, I don't know. Because
I think it's because he's been consistently good for so long. His numbers are consistently high that it just...
And he throws a lot. Like, you can't really... It's hard to compare him to Carson Wentz. Because Carson Wentz, he's not going to throw 60 times a game. He's going to throw 30 and run 10. So it's hard to compare
Who do you
those
think
two.
has a tougher division? Would you say the Saints do?
The
See, I think the Saints do. Eagles are playing the Redskins and Giants.
Yeah.
Both of those teams stink.
stink.
The Saints
Now-
are playing Tampa Bay. Who knows? We'll say they stink.
Yeah.
They're playing the Panthers and they're playing the
Who
Falcons.
stunk.
Sinch is correct, by the way. Drew Brees has never won the NFL MVP, but he was the MVP of Super Bowl 40. So,
all right. So.
there's something.
But I just want to expand a little on my question. I want to hear what Craig thinks.
Yeah.
Because you were about to answer, but you didn't really answer. Do the receivers, how much of a difference do they make to you when you're ranking the quarterback, when you're considering who to pick?
See, again, that's almost like the offensive line thing where people don't think about that. Like,
Right.
I try to, but it's hard.
I do.
So
Here's the thing. Like, let's say that Josh is going to start for the Giants this year. He now has no one to throw to except Golden Tate. So if you were going to draft him...
broken thumb Sterling Shepard.
Right. And what's his... And
Evan Ingram.
And Corey
Evan
broke
Ingram.
his ACL. So he's not coming back.
Well-
So the thing is, like... Let's say would you even consider drafting him if he had
On the Giants, I wouldn't draft any quarterback.
all right,
I don't care who it is.
Well, let's say he's
Agreed.
a Patriot,
But
and then your
but it-
three
but
receivers
see,
are broken.
so-
But you're going to
Well-
a different spot. I'm not taking a Giant because I have Giant bias. I'm not taking a Giant because they don't have any receivers.
So here's my thought. You have your tiers, and I think maybe when you have people that are close, you might look at that and see, oh, well, these guys, he has this receivers, and this has this receivers, so I'm going to rank this guy higher based on that. I think when it comes to guys that are very close together, that's when you start looking at something like
Okay, but see, here's where I was going.
okay.
There's a team in the league who has two very good receivers, has a very solid tight end, has a really good running back core.
Yeah, except their tight end's broken.
I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns.
Of course.
So if we're
Oh,
talking
sweet
about the
Jesus, here we
Browns,
go.
and we're going to talk about their superstar quarterback,
Yep.
Not proven.
he did better than any other Brown quarterback did. I'm just saying, him going into season
Derailed.
two with better targets, you would assume a better head coach because the second half of the year, everything they did, they were more successful. And now you've got a full season with that head coach. You would think that his numbers would be on the upswing.
In theory.
I just wanted to hear Craig's thoughts on the Cleveland Browns offense.
I
the
really
potential.
don't want to bring up the Cleveland Browns in front of Craig. For
I
those
think
who are
it'll
new to the
speak-
podcast, this is something you don't know.
I think it'll speak volumes when we do the rankings.
It will.
So
I ranked him.
I will
Yeah.
tell you right now, I put Craig's numbers into the system last, and Baker Mayfield sunk like a mafioso with some cement shoes. So
so it did.
I just want to
Hey,
be clear about
the
that.
Browns will either be 10-win team or they're going to win 5 games.
And they'll implode.
You know, I'm just
It's going to be
saying.
one or the other.
I'm just saying. If you go through their schedule, like everybody loves to do, that's a win, that's a loss. If you go through their schedule, I think it's easier to give them 11 wins than it is to give them 5 wins.
Okay.
With who they play, they should be a playoff.
So here's the thing, though. Like, the Bengals receiving core has been ranked like in the top 10. Where do you put Andy Dalton?
Number 36.
I wouldn't rank him in the top 10 for receiving core.
See,
Wait,
he's
wait,
the one
wait,
that
wait, wait, wait. Why
drags them down.
Where has the Bengals ever been ranked in the top 10 in receiving core? They have A.J. Green and also appearing in this game.
Mohamed
Sanu was
he's
a
a-
non-factor.
no,
John Ross isn't sure what team he plays for. He spends so little time on the
And he had
field.
And you forgot about
Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler
Well,
Boyd.
he got his contract. He's not going to play
Yeah,
anymore.
Tyler Boyd only comes on when A.J. Green isn't there.
All right.
All right.
Look at the games that they played together last year, and Tyler Boyd was an also-ran. He's like the guy that they put at the end of the Oscar reel who died that year. You know, it's like the guy who's like, all right, here's 17 great actors. Those are the A.J. Greens of the world. Now here's a guy who won Best Cinematography in 1973
opposite.
for 2001, and he died, and no one even knows who he is. And you're like, who? That's Tyler Boyd right now.
I thought it was opposite. I thought he didn't come up when Green
He came
was
out
injured.
later in the season, but it was when Green was out.
No, but I thought it was the opposite. I thought he didn't do as well because
AJ
once he
Green
was
hasn't been great for whatever reason you want to figure for a good 3 years now.
I'll tell you the reason A.J. Green hasn't been great, and I'm
Andy
a beer in,
Dalton.
so I'll tell you gladly. Andy Dalton.
Well, I'm
I thought you
saying
just had a taster.
for
No,
whatever
I
reason
can't.
he had a taster. It's just he had 4.
I had a taster. I just filled it 3 times.
All right, move it up.
All right, so we will discuss wide receivers. We will
As soon
discuss
as the
wide
podcast
receivers.
is
Why are
over.
you pointing at me?
Did you have your hot take?
No, we don't have time for my hot take.
Oh
we just
my
spent
God.
20 minutes talking about your hot takes.
Britt, do you have a lukewarm take?
All right,
No.
a 10-second take.
10-second take. I blame Andy Dalton.
Okay.
All right, so moving on.
And that fits for a lot of different things.
So everyone's doing their draft prep, right? So let's talk about quarterbacks. Let me first talk about how we came to our consensus rankings. I had everybody mail me their top 10 or 20 people. I created a list. I used my own scoring mechanism, which was basically they got 20 points if they were top of the list. They got 1 point if they were bottom of the list. And if you ranked less than 20 people, well, then those other people just didn't get points. And we came up with a consensus of the people who were in the room. We also used one expert poll, which we will not describe because we didn't pay for it. It's freely available on the internet, but we still don't want to give any particular site until they sponsor us, any sort of press. Yes.
Right.
So, that being said, this is the list we came up with, and I don't think it's shocking who came in at number 1. There are only 2 people in this room that did not put him at number 1, and they both put him at number 2.
Yeah.
And I'm offended by that, by the way.
So we're going
because
to talk about that.
clear
We
cut
will.
number 1.
We're going to talk about that. So Patrick Mahomes clearly tops the list. Craig and I both put him at number 2. Before we hear from the folks who think why he should be number 1, I want to hear from the folks who did not put him at number 1. And
Fair.
here is, I'm going to put out my reason very simply.
Yeah.
The book is now out on him. The end. Donovan McNabb was great until the book was out on him. Michael Vick was great until the book was out on him. Does anybody remember the run and shoot offense? Fantastic until they figured it out.
Right.
I have a feeling Patrick Mahomes regresses a little bit this year. Craig, your defense of Patrick Mahomes.
So that was part of it. I had like three reasons. That was part of it. Defenses teams have had a whole year now to actually study what he does. I mean, I know they're great at making up plays on the fly, but he's going to throw the ball. That's what he's going to do. The second thing involves Tyreek Hill. I know he's been cleared. He's not suspended, but
I was right.
Bullshit.
something
I was right about that. Totally
something
right.
like is just telling me in the back of my head that this is all going to come up again in the middle of the season, and he may not have Tyreek Hill to throw to.
I think that's a possibility given the individual who I feel is behind the majority of the Tyreek Hill stuff, and she will probably strike
And my
again.
third reason, you can say I'm crazy, he's on the cover of Madden.
Oh, sweet
Craig,
Jesus.
you're crazy.
All right, so let's dismiss
go.
reason number 3 and move on to the,
Watch
Wait,
what
let
happens
me
if we-
gotta
let me
get
give
this-
a quick
No,
defense.
you're going to, but I want to get this podcast moving because Craig has to get to the Area 51 raid. With takes like that, we know where he's going with this. So, Sean and Sinch, you guys put him at number 1 overall. Clearly, we put him at number 2 because we have some concerns. Tell us why we're wrong.
I think even with a little regression, he's still going to be number one.
He's
he
far
was,
above.
He was last year. And,
Do you think he's capable of 50 touchdowns again this year?
I mean, I know that Hunt isn't there anymore. I mean, he had him for half the season last year or whatever.
Mm-hmm. He may do.
And I know his numbers did go down after Hunt left, but I still feel that with his athleticism, that he's still going to be right up there. I mean,
okay.
And the fact that Hill's not suspended.
Sinch, what do you think?
He was the best last year.
Clearly.
I think he's going to be the best this year. They drafted a receiver. Was it first round, second round, first pick they had, whatever it was?
You would think I would know that being a Chiefs fan.
Well, that's why I was asking.
They
drafted a receiver.
They were afraid of the Tyreek
who
Hill.
many people were saying is the replica player that Hill is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't double team Hill when Hill's on the field. If you have two Hills on the field at the same time, how do you defend that? Plus you throw in Kelsey. Plus you throw in that they could throw passes out of the backfield. Plus Mahomes,
Damian Williams is great in the backfield.
Mahomes can give you 25 rushing yards without even blinking in a game.
It's also true.
You're not going to get that from Luck because Luck doesn't want to take the hits, so he's not going to run anymore. I just think there isn't another guy in the league that's going to jump up the way Mahomes did last year. So Mahomes is on an island by himself.
And that brings us to the number 2 guy, and the guy that Craig and I put at number 1, which was Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is our number 2 consensus pick. Everybody else had... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sinch had him at number 2. Sean had him at number 3. So Sean's going to have some splaining to do in a minute. But let's start with... Sinch is looking for another beer. So, you know what? Let's take a 30-second pause. Sinch, you have something in your magic bag. Is everybody ready for another beer?
Do we want the surprise, or do we want...
Hey,
I want whatever you pull out of the bag. I want 4 ounces of it in this little cup, and only 4 ounces of it.
And
so
the
I don't
answer
die.
is...
This is Fudgy the Whale. Oh, Fudgy the Beer. Limited edition dark roast fudgy collaboration with Carvel.
Bush.
So I'm going to steal 4 ounces of this and give the rest to Craig.
Carvel.
I don't
so
like
we've had an
stouts.
ice cream man and then Carvel beer.
Hey, man.
See, it all kinds of goes together like that.
Drink the rest of
Yeah,
this.
but
It's
Fudgy
summer.
the bear is
Fudgy
dark.
the Bear.
Hey, by the way, while we're pouring a stout and we're on applause from, we've always talked about one quarterback so far.
We have.
You've gotten far.
Applause!
Yeah.
Oh, applause. My bad.
That's okay. 11 through 20 is like 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, we're going to fly.
Yeah.
Two Roads just put out a French toast stout made with maple syrup, which Craig and I sampled on Wednesday night. It was not terrible.
It was not terrible, but for
Oh.
me, it was way too sweet.
It was very sweet. Sean is just taking his sip of Fudgy. Talk to me about Fudgy, Sean.
I like Fudgy. It's good. I like...
Well, if that's not the name of the episode, I don't know what is.
So, just to recap, we got Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes. Good night, everybody. Sean loves Fudgy.
Oh, that's the title.
Craig and I just looked at each other, and we
It's-
had an entire conversation of the looks between our two faces. So,
Surprisingly enough, I do taste fudge.
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
stout. Chocolate.
You
is
get
easy to
Yeah.
put on
You get
stout.
the
get
chocolate
those-
fudge crunchy
Yeah.
taste from the Carvel cake.
Yeah,
This
it's
is,
actually, it's like the other one without the mint.
Oh my god, he's right. It does taste like chocolate crunchies from Carvel.
That's the best part of the Carvel cake.
Oh my god, the only reason to get the Carvel cake. Otherwise, just ice cream.
Right,
Yeah.
pretty much. It's ice cream in a shape.
No one has ever been able to duplicate those crunchies the right way. Like Friendly's puts crap in the middle there.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen tried doing a half cake, half ice
Yeah,
cream
no.
nonsense. The crunchies are where it's at, kids.
It's true.
Quote the Black Cauldron for the enough. The munches and the crunches.
Okay, and
All
Sean
right,
just,
there we go.
Sean
And now I'm
just
cut
let you all
off.
know he's at least 40. All right, so
So,
speaking of-
real quick on this
Yes.
beer.
Yeah.
Like it, don't like it. It is exactly what they say it is.
yes,
So-
no question.
If you like chocolate
it is
crunchies, you like
If
chocolate
you like
fudge.
chocolate
It does not-
stouts, is a must try.
And honestly,
Yes.
it doesn't even taste like a beer.
No, it tastes like chocolate, almost like a
A
chocolate
dark,
milk.
roasty, and fudge. That's what it says, and that's what
correct.
it is.
Speaking of people who are about 40 years old, number 2 on our list is Andrew Luck. And I had him at 1. Craig had him at 1.
Luck is like 28 years old.
Yeah, but he looks like he's 40. And if
Okay.
you go by
At
his,
least.
his Civil War posts on Twitter, he's easily
those are
120
great.
years old. That is fantastic. So I want to start with the person who did not put him in the top 2, which would be Sean, who ranked him at 3. Sean, you put him behind both Mahomes and Rodgers.
Since his
Defend
favorite
yourself.
quarterback.
Rogers! I mean, I think he's going to have a bounce back season. He's
and you
not.
think he's going to be better than Luck?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're going to be very close.
I think all the pieces are there.
And it's just my pessimistic side saying Rodgers is going to be great, of course, because I'm a Bears fan. So, that's probably had part to do with it.
I think Indy has all the pieces in place.
I think so, too.
Everyone stays healthy. This could be
a
a 12 to 13 win team, and that's a huge if. And that's why you want to. I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna give you a little peek into my wide receiver rankings. Dante Moncrief is a major sleeper this year. I think he's going to be.
And
a
where
top
do you
20.
think he's playing?
He's in Indy.
No, he isn't.
Dante Moncrief?
No.
Not for 2 years now.
Oh, that's right.
No, he's not.
Well, Dante Moncrief's going to be
And
great.
cut Britt off.
But there's my. I think.
Edit that out, Craig. No, you won't. He'll leave that in there just to piss me off. Go ahead, finish your thought, Sean, and look into the
I
mic
don't
when you
know.
talk.
Here's
I'm
my
sorry,
thought.
I'm
Here's
done.
my thought. I agree with what you're saying about the Colts. If you had to pick one team who you think's really going to pop and jump out this year, I think it's the Colts.
Right.
And that's why I had Luck number 2, because he's the key. He's a guy that you want to throw $100 on an MVP vote. He's a good guy to do that on. Aaron Rodgers hasn't been good in 3 years. He's overrated. He could do everything, but he hasn't done everything in a long time.
So here's my thing. You said if they're very close, how much?
I don't think they're very close.
I think they are.
Okay.
How much do you take into account the wide receivers? Adams definitely better than, I think Hilton. Hilton.
Ty.
And I
You're
think,
welcome.
Jones is better than whoever they have in the Indy backfield.
Marlon Mack.
I know it's Marlon Mack.
I think to say any
Marlon
running
Mack's
back,
gonna have a good
any
year.
running back for Green Bay is better than anyone on any other team is a hot take,
Yeah.
because they haven't had a good running back.
You know, I realized something. How I feel
Boy.
about the Browns is how Sinch feels about the Packers.
I don't think it's the same level of venom.
No,
exists,
I don't
though.
hate the Packers. I swear to God, I
just
don't.
hates the
It's
Packers.
just Rodgers is overrated. Rodgers isn't the best quarterback in football. He's not a top 3 quarterback in football. In the Madden stats, not that they mean anything, but in the Madden numbers, he's not even a top 5 quarterback this year. So it's not just me that thinks he's overrated.
Which takes us to number 3 on our list, which is Aaron Rodgers. So even though we all have concerns about Aaron Rodgers, and we do, Sean and our experts have him at number 2, which I think is too high. I have him at 3. Sinch and Craig both have him a little bit lower. I think we just covered that. So unless anybody's last thoughts on that, Sean, you're the one.
I mean, you have the top 3 are going to be. I mean, unless you're Cinch here, Mahomes, Luck, and Rodgers. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that's
your top tier.
That's your top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes I think might be in the tier by himself. Obviously, some people don't, but those are the top 3 right there. That's tier 1.
Now you'll have some people tell you Deshaun Watson's in that top
No.
tier.
Remember
Tier
that
2.
guy?
He might be the top of tier 2, but he's tier 2.
Yeah, the guy in the best ball draft who told me I'd regret not drafting Deshaun Watson when he took him in the 3rd round. Yeah, I remember that guy. I don't feel bad for him at all.
He's Mahomes extra light.
Wow.
There you go.
Well, just like extra light beers, I don't take it. So the question really is, who kicks off the second tier? In our consensus rankings, the second tier is kicked off by Matt Ryan at number 4. I'm a little surprised at how high we have him. Sinch and Craig were bigger on him than the other 2, so I'll let you guys start. Why should we trust Matt Ryan? He's an every other year quarterback, and last year was a good year, so why should I trust him this year?
Same thing. It's almost the same. I wouldn't put him on the same level as Drew Brees, but he just has a volume of throws. He's going to throw like 40, 45 times a game.
Okay,
I got the reason right here.
go for it.
I've been doing my research.
Good.
Atlanta's first 10 weeks are indoors.
That helps
First
him.
10 weeks are indoors.
Even away games?
All of December, they play in either Florida, California, or at home. That means that you're talking about 14 weeks that they're playing, that it's either climate controlled or warm.
So what I'm hearing is trade him after week 10. Trade
Cinch,
high.
I'll give you props. I did not do that much depth into where they were playing.
I'm surprised
so
Sean
maybe
drove
that
here.
could have made my ranking of him higher, which I think I was the lowest on. So
Yes.
yeah, so maybe that would have influenced me a
Plus,
little bit more.
I think Ridley is going to have a jump out year. 2 really
can.
good receivers.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ridley fan.
He's
we
got
know.
good receiving running backs. And the tight end, I don't think is any good, but he's going to catch a couple of balls a game.
Okay.
I gave my reasons.
Now, one of the people Sean did rank very high is our number 5 guy, who is Deshaun Watson. I am not big on Deshaun Watson. I have him at like 7th or 8th. Craig has him a little bit better. Sinch has him a little bit better. And Sean Main is carrying a card of the Deshaun Watson fan club. Sean, explain to me why he's your 3rd best quarterback ranked above...
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Fourth. Sorry, he's your 4th best quarterback. You have him ranked above you have him ranked behind everybody we discussed except Matt Ryan. What's with the Deshaun Watson love? You really think this is a big year for Watson in Houston?
I think that it's like this is the year for him. This is if he's going to prove himself, this is the year. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's going to prove himself this year.
I'm not. Does anybody else want to counter that?
No, I'm good.
I think he has 2
Potential.
really good receivers.
Yeah.
He's got 2 really good receivers.
Who am I not thinking of? Hopkins
Hopkins
Fuller.
and Fuller. But Fuller
both
is always
of whom
hurt.
have missed time each of the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They just drafted a tight end. Who'd they get? Do you remember?
Random guy.
No, they drafted a good receiving rookie tight end. I'm not going to look
That's
it
the
up.
source's job. I have no idea.
If there's a young quarterback who for a couple of years now you expected to really pop, and what was it? It was 2 years ago that for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks he was the guy. He was the MVP of the league, and then he had no receivers. He got hurt. I just think there's good reason for Watson to be high.
Okay, fair enough. I don't. I think Watson is. I think they're a very
I don't, you're
one-dimensional
wrong.
team. Very well said, but incorrect. No, I'm not. They're a very one-dimensional team in that their passing game is what they need to do. They have Lamar Miller has never been the answer to any question other than who disappointed you last fantasy season. So you don't have to worry about the running game there.
But wouldn't that lead to a higher pass percentage, more chances for touchdowns?
It also
if you have
leads
to
to a
pass all
higher
the time?
percentage of nickel and dime defenses. That's where I'm at. I don't fear the running game
and don't forget
in
Kiki
Houston.
Kuti.
Yeah, Kiki Kuti. That's fantastic. You just like saying the
It's
name.
cutie. You guys are making this an
Cutie.
R-rated.
So we have Watson at 5. I'm going to move on to number 6. And then we're going to go into fast forward mode where we start talking about people in bunches. But number 6 is a personal favorite of mine to discuss. And one person in the room, only one person in the room, had him outside the top 10 quarterbacks fantasy-wise. So the experts had him in the top 10. They had him at 6th. I had him at 8. Sean had him at 8. Sinch had him at 9. Craig had him at number 11. Craig, without going into a rant that will end this podcast forever, please explain to me why you cost Baker Mayfield a spot, because your ranking is literally the difference between him and Deshaun Watson. Tell me why you would take Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield.
Do you really want me to go into it?
Your
You have
unbiased
30 seconds,
opinion.
go. 30 seconds, go.
The overhypeness around Cleveland is real. So he hasn't proven anything to me. I still feel like this team is going to implode upon itself because you have a lot of people who all want the ball and they all want attention, and that is a very, very bad thing to have that many people around one football. Oh, yeah, and also their head coach isn't getting along with their offensive coordinator, so there you go.
Time. Cinch. Sean, tell him why he's wrong.
I thought we already did in this episode.
We do this on rankings. We're always wrong all the time.
It's
so
just
keep telling
too many weapons.
Yes.
Too many weapons.
Well,
to
You're
not
feeding his
be
argument.
good.
You're supposed to tell him why too many weapons and not be good.
Yes.
So Craig is going to the point of view. There's so many weapons that it won't function properly. There's too many cooks in the kitchen.
You're gonna hear so
Ant
many cooks in the kitchen.
You're going to hear, give me the damn ball. That's what you're going to hear.
Okay,
this
but
year.
here's the
You
thing.
might.
Wait. See, here's the thing. When you're winning, you don't hear that.
Yeah.
Cleveland has a weak schedule.
Yeah.
They believe in themselves
So you're
for the
telling me
first time in forever.
Freddie Kitchens is the answer to Cleveland's success.
They
No,
might be.
I'm telling you that Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham, Landry, Chubb, Njoku, because I just like saying that.
All right, that is a good name. Kid.
But all of this plus a weak schedule where you play
Who's
teams
your
like
other running back?
Cincinnati
Another good
twice.
running back.
Duke Johnson, who doesn't want to be there, and they won't trade him.
There's another good running back there.
What?
What's his
Johnson?
name?
Sheldon
He
Hunt.
used to
Oh
play for
yeah,
Kansas
he
City.
might have played for
Hunt,
Kansas
yeah.
City.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt? Yeah, he's not going to play for 8 weeks.
So what?
Okay.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's just how I would counter. They have too many weapons. A young team that early in the year wins 2 or 3 times quickly, builds up a lot of confidence that they're better than maybe they are. They're going to roll through some weak teams. They don't have a strong schedule.
All I'm saying is any given Sunday. Doesn't matter who they're playing.
Okay.
So that means
logic
the
works
So
both
wait. So
ways.
what you're saying is any
the
given
complete-
Sunday, no matter who they're
the
playing,
complete
you don't like
opposite
them.
can happen. They could lose 3 or 4 games in a row and be like, I hate all of you, and just implode. The same
might
exact thing
happen.
can happen.
That might happen, but I'm betting on the other half.
All right.
Next.
So you know, the guy from Jeopardy
I'm-
said to
I'm-
not bet on the Browns winning.
I really.
He did because
Well, I wouldn't bet
he
on them
did-
winning the Super Bowl either.
No, I meant really. You're trusting a guy who's a professional gambler and who just won money on Jeopardy.
no. I'm just adding that in.
Okay. I watched his run. It was not that impressive. He won a lot of matches running away, but he also used that stupid I jump categories every question method, which is
I mean,
just
it is a
jerk
smart.
move.
It's a smart.
It's what most of the champions have done, except for Ken Jennings, who's the only legitimate Jeopardy champion. There I said.
One of my teachers in college was on Jeopardy.
Yeah, did he win?
No.
Then why are we talking about it? We're moving on. Okay. Next on the list is Drew Brees. And I'm going to bring up Brees individually because one of the people in this room did not put him in the top 10. Only one. And that would be Mr. Sinch. So, Sinch, explain to me. I'm sorry, I'm
Not
also
in the
going to say
top
our
20.
expert poll. No. Sinch only ranked 10 quarterbacks for us.
Oh, okay.
So, thanks for calling him out on that on the air. So
Sorry,
that's fantastic.
Wasn't that what I was supposed to do?
No, I think we were doing 10 quarterbacks and everybody else did 20. So,
Oops.
yeah.
That's fine.
So I followed
So
directions.
Sinch followed directions and he's getting ridiculed for
All right, I'm just saying.
Sorry.
Craig has Drew Brees at number 4. I have Drew Brees at number 4. Sean has him at number 5. Cinch, why didn't he make your top 10?
I thought ranking quarterbacks was really difficult because I thought there were there's a couple of really good, and then there's a lot of good ones. So the difference between your 5th rated and your 11th or 12th rated, it's just a projection. They're all close together. Breeze, you know what? He's getting older now. He's 40
Who's
or
your
41.
quarterback?
Oh, the 6-time Super Bowl winning Tom Brady. Played in 9
whatever.
Super Bowls. Thanks for bringing that up because I
How
didn't do it
old-
on my own.
How old is
Because
he?
of his
He'll be
offensive
42
line.
in a couple.
Maybe.
Okay.
I think in a week.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
think...
and I don't think that
My
Breeze
only-
has been
Hey,
that
look,
much
if-
behind him in actual.
I didn't bring up
Whose
Brady.
idea was it for
If
a
we want to
four-person
talk
boost?
Brady, I'm ready.
I'm still here. I become a game manager. I am Joe Flacco.
Just to explain,
He won a Super Bowl.
You wanted a 4-man booth.
we're talking Breeze. We're not talking Brady.
Yeah.
It happened with Brady last season where they looked to run more. Now, that might have been where they were saying, look, this is where we see our offense. This is what we want to do. Or it could have been an age thing or a combination. Any way you want to look at it.
They had Kamara and Ingram, so that's a
Well,
good
Ingram's
combination.
gone now.
Yeah, now he's gone. So
Well, my only point is 1 year older for a quarterback when you're in your 40s is one more reason to run the ball a little bit more than you used to do it.
Fair enough.
And I'm
enough.
not saying he's bad. I'm saying that
Well,
we're projecting. So we're projecting when the season is over. So when the season is over, if Drew Brees is ranked 4, I'll be a little surprised. I don't think he'll be there. But then again, I didn't think Rodgers would be that high up there either.
And conversely, you are the only person in this room. I'm sorry, that's not true. Sean also ranked him to rank Tom Brady. So you are telling me right now that you think Tom Brady is going to have a better fantasy football season than Drew Brees.
No, I'm not saying that.
But your rankings do.
Well, all right.
You ranked Brady and didn't rank Brees.
All right. I ranked Brady, I think, 10.
Yeah, he's near the bottom of the list, but he's still
But
ranked.
you know who I didn't rank?
Me.
I didn't rank Lamar Jackson.
Oh, he's terrible. Did
He's
anybody rank him?
terrible.
I
No
didn't
no
either.
one no one ranked
I
him.
did rank 20.
No
Just
one
the-
ranked
just the
him.
expert poll. That was it.
But let me say this. A lot of guys make a big jump from first year to second year. He didn't throw the ball a lot last year. When the year started, he was the backup. So he's not getting the number 1 pass opportunities all throughout the training camp. He's the number 2, and then halfway through the season they said you're number 1.
right.
Now he's got this time where, who knows, we don't even know how accurate he is because they never gave him a chance to pass the ball. If he could pass the ball just a little bit more, That's going to open up him running with the ball a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that you wouldn't be shocked if he had maybe 200-yard games this season.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I didn't rank him. But he's a guy where when the season's over, if he's ranked 7th, I wouldn't be shocked by it.
Right. Okay. Moving on, because we are, believe it or not, running out of time already.
Oh, jeez.
So we're gonna. Well, I want to have final takes, and the final takes I want from you guys is a bold prediction at quarterback at each position. So I want to make sure we have time for that. So just to recap, we got Mahomes, Luck, Rodgers, Ryan, then Watson at 5. Baker Mayfield's our 6. Drew Brees is our 7. I'm gonna round out the top 10 really quick with Carson Wentz at 8. Cam Newton at 9 and Jared Goff at 10. Without explanation, I want to go around the room really quick. You have to take one of them. Are you going with Wentz, Newton, or Goff? Sean?
I am going to go with, I'll go with my rankings, I'll go with Wentz.
Wentz. Sinch?
Wentz was my 3rd highest rated quarterback.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't think Goff is a good quarterback at all, and you can't trust Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays every week, he's definitely up there. He definitely deserves top 5, 6, 7, something like that.
Okay.
You can't trust him.
Craig, Wentz, Newton, or Goff?
Goff, he's on the Rams.
I'm going to go Cam. I'm going to be the only one that goes Newton. So we
Wow.
have a divided booth on this.
Okay.
And that's the fantastic part about consensus ratings. All right, so that takes us out of the top 10. Number 11 is Ben Roethlisberger. I have no faith that Pittsburgh's going to do anything this year. Number 12 is Russell Wilson. Does anybody else remember when Russell Wilson was really high ranked? Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither. 13 is going to be Jameis Winston. I have zero faith in Jameis Winston this year.
Do you?
I don't think that Tampa's going to show that rapid improvement. I want to talk about Jameis Winston in 2020. That I don't want to talk about in 2019. And that's going to be a big if. That's if he's still there. He might not even be there.
He won't be in the NFL in 2020.
That's possible. That's possible. Or he might be. You know what? I think it's safe to say he's either a top 5 projected quarterback next year or
that's
he's not on
insane.
our list. He's one or the other. He's either going to show massive
There's
improvement.
no way he's a top 5 ranked quarterback.
Well, we
next
don't know
year.
that yet. We've got to see what
No,
happens
I've
with the
seen
new
the
guy.
future. He's not there.
Okay. Sean is making mad gestures at his phone. What?
No, it's just something later. No, not
Okay.
definitely not about Winston.
Moving on.
So all that was for
Winston's, to
nothing?
me, is not
So
up
that
there.
Winston was, what is that, 13 for Winston? Yes. All right, so 14, Tom Brady, because someone in the room is a Patriots fan.
Oh, wait a
I
minute.
had 13 I had
Other
13
people
for-
rated him.
Literally,
I did not.
I had
Tom Brady
13
did not
for
make my
Brady.
top 20.
I had 13 for Brady.
Okay, I think that's Brady has never been an effective quarterback at the fantasy level.
Fantasy numbers.
But
Who's gonna have a better year, Jameis Winston or Tom Brady?
Jameis Winston. And I'm confident in saying that. I don't think that's a hot take at all. But what is a hot take is that Phillip Rivers comes in behind Tom Brady really quick. You guys really don't think Rivers is going to have a better year than Brady?
I have him just behind him. Just behind him. I like Rivers. I will take him every year on my team as my second quarterback, and if he ends up being my first quarterback, he ends up being my first quarterback.
There you go.
And I've done it before. So
Okay. That's the top 15. Number 16 is going to be Dak Prescott. I think he has a chance. I have him rated actually a little higher than that, but he has a big time potential to break out, or he could fall flat on his face. Who knows?
Contract year too.
Contract year too. Number 17 is Kyler Murray.
Why?
I don't know what to expect from Kyler Murray. Honestly, the only person who ranked him high on our list is the expert poll, which is why I put this in here, is to get a perspective of other folks that are outside of our realm. Number 12 is Kirk Cousins, who I think is a sink or swim quarterback. Since you ranked him higher than everybody else, he's got 2 really good wide receivers. 2 guys who could potentially be top 10 fantasy wide receivers. And if Kyle Rudolph stays healthy, that could be fantastic. So I kind of am with you on that. Jimmy Garoppolo is coming in at number, what am I up to, 19? Number 20 is a guy I'm big on, Mitchell Trubisky. I think this is a do or die year for the Bears, and Trubisky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trubisky is to me the same thing as Jameis Winston. He's either going to be really highly ranked next year because he's really great, or he's going to be bagging my groceries. Either way, we'll find out. Number
Can I
21.
do a quick
no.
Trubisky?
Number
Oh.
21. What? You got 30 seconds. Go.
I think his wide receivers are going to drag him down a little bit. I think he's going to be. I have him at 15. I think he's going to be pretty good this year, and he's gonna. I think he's gonna prove himself.
He's
Okay.
a 7 to 15 ranking in his entire career.
There we go. All right, moving on.
Okay.
After Mitchell
take
Trubisky,
7.
we've got Sam Darnold at 31. I think he's got potential. Only Craig ranked him, though. Craig, you have 10 seconds. Sam Darnold, why? Time. Moving on.
Why?
Matt Stafford is the next
yeah.
on our list. I have Matt Stafford near the bottom of my list. I have him at 17 because, again, it's a potential thing. I don't think he's going to be great, but I do think last year was an aberration.
the day that one of the highest paid quarterbacks ever is at 20. That's crazy.
Lamar Jackson comes in after him at number 23. And then Jared Allen rounds out our list because only our expert had any faith in him, and he ranked him at 19. So really quick, and then we're going to get on to final thoughts. Our top 20, what is this, 26? I don't even know. We got Mahomes, Luck, Rodgers, Ryan, Watson at 5, Mayfield, Breeze, Wentz, Newton, Goff is number 10, Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Winston, Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers comes in at number 15, Prescott, Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitchell Trubisky rounds out the top 20, Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford, Lamar Jackson, and then Jared Allen at number 24 to round out our list. Really quick, before, and no explanations, I just want an answer. In that bottom 5 people, you got to pick one and run with him. Are you going Allen, Jackson, Stafford, Darnold, or Trubisky? Sean.
Trubisky.
Trubisky, Sinch. Got to take one.
Lamar Jackson, just because the running.
Lamar Jackson, moving on.
Darnold.
Craig. Darnold. I would also go Darnold. So, all right. So, that leaves us time for our final takes. And our final takes this week are going to be centered around the quarterback rankings. I want a bold prediction, and you each get about 30 seconds to tell me why this is a bold prediction and what your defense for it is. Craig has already pointed at Sean, and Sean is shaking his head to go last. I'll go first. All right.
There you go.
Here you go. I just said I'm big on Mitchell Trubisky. I think Mitchell Trubisky is a QB1 this year. At the end of the year, he will be in the top 12 fantasy quarterbacks. I think all the pieces are there. I think the potential's there. It's the second year under this head coach. It's a KC graduate. I think all the pieces are there for the Bears to be really good offensively this year. The shedding of Jordan Howard was a good thing. The adding of David Mitchell was a good thing. This is going to be their year.
That was amazing, Sean. You sounded just like Britt.
You know, I wasn't going to go there, but I'm going to go with Trubisky as well because maybe it's a homer thing because I'm a Bears
Give
fan.
me a different hot take. Give me something else spicy.
What? You want somebody else?
I want something else spicy. It doesn't have to be somebody who's good. Somebody look at somebody at the top of the list and you're like, that guy's going to be terrible. We're wrong about that guy. Who did you rank low that we ranked high? You've got Cam Newton outside the top 10. We've got him at number 9.
Yeah, I just no Cam. I don't even know. Oh, 12. I had him at 12.
12. Okay.
I mean, I just don't think he's just getting too old. Too old. It's breaking. It's gonna break down too much. I think. You know, he doesn't have Olsen. I mean, he does have Olsen, but Olsen's not himself either. And he's
Olsen's too old.
Yeah,
Olsen's old.
Exactly. So I don't think there's much there to lean on.
Speaking of old people, Cinch, your hot take on the quarterbacks.
Wow.
All right, so here it is. 30
I'm all about
seconds.
the segues. Yeah.
30 seconds. You're
Go
going to
for it.
draft. If you don't get Mahomes or Luck, that's where I think the cliff is. That's where you get 8 guys that are all the same. So hold out until round 15 or so. Draft Kirk Cousins. He could potentially be an MVP candidate.
Oh, I like
They've
that
got
take.
a different offensive coordinator.
Spicy.
They've got receivers that could catch the ball, a tight end who could catch the ball, receivers, running backs who could catch it out of the backfield. Kirk Cousins.
Craig, your hot take.
Yeah, so if
sorry,
you have a
your final
choice
thought.
between Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold, I would take Sam Darnold. Because
You know Herndon's suspended, right?
I know he's suspended,
Okay.
but now he has a real running back with Bell there, so that takes a lot of pressure off of him. He still has Enunwa, he still has Robbie Anderson, and with the addition of Jamison Crowder, I think the Jets are actually going to have a full receiving core. And you will see the Sam Darnold you saw when he was in college.
Okay, last question of the day. So you got 30 seconds each. How early is too early to draft a quarterback in a standard in a PPR redraft league that has one QB? So Cinch just made a great point. We got a top tier. Mahomes and Luck are probably going to go earlier in most drafts than you want to take him. Really quick, I'm going to go backwards across the room. When is too early to take a quarterback, Craig?
When is too early?
Yes.
Too early would be anything before round 5.
So round 5 is the earliest you would consider taking
Yeah.
a quarterback in a 10 to 12 team league.
Yeah.
Cinch.
I would say in a 10-team league, at the end of the third round is the earliest I could possibly think about it.
Okay.
End of the third, beginning of the fourth, right around there.
Sean.
I agree. It's probably about the 5th round where if luck landed me there, and he was my 3rd rated. If luck landed me there, I would take him there. But other than that, I would wait longer.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I mean, Breeze has gotten picked in the 10th round.
Yeah.
I think so far in these, and I have him rated pretty high. So that tier drops, and you can wait if you want to wait and get that tier
And see, that's the point. You could wait.
Yeah.
If you take someone in the 4th or 5th round, okay, great. But you could take someone who's almost that good in the 10th, 12th, 13th round.
Yep.
Right. I mean, look, we had Mahomes at like the middle of the pack. He was like 16 or 17 on our list last year and just broke out. There's those guys you can get later.
There's only one guy who saw that coming, by the way.
Yeah, you picked him up. We know. I would say 5th round is the earliest in a standard, a regular kind of PPR redraft league that I would start looking at quarterback. But I mean, that's also draft flow dependent. There's always those situations. I tend to look at quarterback later in general for exactly that reason. There's depth. For me, a draft is all about depth, and there's no depth at running back and wide receiver. The cliffs come more often, and they come sharper, and it's not as big of a fall from Luck to Rodgers as it is in like the wide receiver and running back cliffs early on. So I look a little later there. All right, that is it for us for the quarterback preview. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, if you have any questions for us, reach out to us on Twitter at FignutsDFS. We are available via email at fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Visit the Football Fignuts podcast on Facebook. Yeah, that's what that thing's
There you
called.
go.
And wherever you listen to us, leave us a review. We are on so many platforms now, I can't even keep track. We will be back in a couple of days. We're going to do the running back preview next. Then about a week from now, you'll hear our wide receiver preview. And a couple of days after that, you will get the what we call other episode where we talk about tight ends,
Everyone else.
defenses, and kickers because they don't take as
Pick
much time
one.
to talk about. So until then, I am Britt.
I'm Craig.
I'm Sinch.
I'm Sean.
And we are the Football Fignuts podcast. Thank you very much.